Pastor Riggo,
Hey, how you doing, Pastor Matt?
welcome to the gathering. Welcome to Catalyst Conversations. And we are, as I was saying a few minutes ago, we are highlighting pastors to try to put a spotlight on your ministry, what you do, where you come from, and your why. Why do you do what you do? And so, as you said, is this organic? Absolutely, this is organic. I want this to be a free-flowing conversation, but those are the main themes that I want to stay within. Okay. Tell me about who you are and why you're here.
First of all, thank you for the opportunity. I don't take it lightly. My name is Riggo Estrada. I pastor Encounter Church. I am a church planner. To be honest with you, my heartbeat is just for the lost more than anything. I love people. I love reaching people that are, down and out and just encouraging them, and just kind of speaking faith in their life and uplifting them, and just letting them know that there's hope, just to have a little, my background. I'm a first generation Christian, and I wasn't raised in church. My parents, they believed in God, but I never had that core value, that Christianity core value foundation. So, got myself caught up in the streets of New Orleans, and just hanging out with the wrong crowd, selling drugs, just in and out in jail, doing things, just going down the wrong path, right? And I always knew growing up, I always believed there was a God, but I didn't know him, so. Sure. So, it kind of led me through some dark times and a lot of heartaches and a lot of headaches, and through the process of it all, in my late 20s, I started dating my wife, and my wife, she's always been a Christian. And she's kind of was the instrument kind of bringing me into Christianity. She's the one kind of introduced me to the Word of God and into his presence and stuff like that. Because like I said, I didn't know nothing. I was just so lost. I was so lost, I believe, but just not knowing that he was, he's real and that you could have a personal,
sure.
Relationship with him. So, through the process of, maybe about 2001, I remember the last time I'm in jail, I'm incarcerated, I'm just locked up, and they're having me in this holding tank. And I remember just praying a simple prayer. Lord, if you get me out of this one, this is it. This is my moment. I hit rock bottom. If you get me out of this one, I'm changing. I remember getting caught with drugs and a gun and just silly stuff. And that was a Saturday. That Monday, the judge calls my name, and he reads all the charges that I have. And I'm sitting there and I'm praying underneath my breath, and I'm like, oh God, and I'm so scared and so nervous. And I remember the judge looking at me. He says, you know what, Mr. Estrada, we are going to drop the gun charge, and we're just going to give you a misdemeanor.
Wow.
Yeah. And he put me on probation. That's when I knew I had to, I guess you could say, hold my bargain, hold my end of the bargain.
Sure.
So, but was it easy? No. It wasn't not easy. Oh my God, it wasn't easy.
But it was the beginning.
It was the beginning,
sure.
Pastor Matt.
It's never, it doesn't matter how long you've been doing this, how long you've been on this journey, it's never easy. It might get easier.
Yeah.
But there are challenges, and the challenges that you faced early on are not the same challenges you face today, but they're still challenges.
No, I struggle. I did struggle for the first, and I tried my best to put my, foot forward and trying to do my part, right?
Sure.
What I know how to do. But I remember, it's funny, I say all the time that God was stalking me. Pastor Matt, he was dealing with me, right? He was
You can just call me Matt, by the way. That's
okay.
all right.
And he was just dealing with me, and he
Sure.
was stalking me. And I mean, he just couldn't let me go, just reminding me of my promise, my oath that I made to him. And I remember, and it's crazy that me and my wife was at this time dating. We went to dinner, and we went to dinner in the city and having a good time. And we got on the subject about God.
And when was this?
This
2001
is
still?
This is 2000, probably 2.
Okay.
Right, 2002. So we got on the subject about God, and we just started talking. And I was just asking questions, and because I knew she was she was raised a Christian since she was a little girl.
How long have you been married at this time?
At this time, we're dating, so we're not married.
Okay, gotcha.
We're dating.
So she's a Christian and she's dating you, a guy that's in trouble. This woman I gotta meet.
Yeah, she is she is a wonderful woman. You got to interview her. But she had just not to touch because we'll be here all day. But she had a rough life with too. With her stepfather, she went through a lot.
Right.
But where we lived in the same neighborhood.
Okay. My
house and her house was across the street from each other.
Oh wow!
And at the age of 14, we was boyfriend and girlfriends in junior high. So. But, not at that age, I'm not knowing that she's going to be my wife in the future, right? I was just, I was
14,
14, right? Yeah. So, but, life goes on. But we got back together in our 20s, right? We just got back together because she moved back home. I moved back home. Just got a relationship. She's got out of a terrible, horrific relationship. And so we started kind of hanging around with the crowds. And at this time, she wasn't like in church because she was kind of struggling too. But she knew more than me, right? Because she was raised all this her life. So get back to the dinner. So we having dinner and we just got on a subject about God. And I remember the conversation she says to me, she says, "You want to go to the prayer room?" I said, "The prayer room?" I said, "Well, let's go to the prayer room." Right? Fine. I said, "Okay, let's go." So we left dinner. This is about 11 o'clock at night, just me and her. And we go to our church, the church that she was raised in. And she tells me, "Pull around the back." So we pull around the back, just me and her, me and her. So we get out the car and I noticed that she has the keys to the church. And, I was raised Catholic and you don't have the keys to the church. Just the priests have the keys to the church, right? So I asked, I said, "You got the keys to the church?" And she says, "Yes, I do." She said, "I come here all the time." So I'm like, "Oh, okay." Right? Not knowing what's going to take place. I mean, when I tell you, I didn't know, I felt like it was a setup. So we walk into the prayer room and it's just me and her. And I go to the right and I started praying what I know how to pray, very reserved and very quiet, because that's how I was raised. But she was raised totally opposite. She started to pray, Matt, fired. I mean, she was like, "Lord, if he ain't the one, take him out of my life. Lord, if he's the one, save him." Right? And I'm crying. Tears is running down my face, man. And I'm like, "Oh my God, what is taking place in here?" And it's just me and her. It's like midnight. And I mean, tears running down my face. And she is praying it down. And I'm like, "Oh my God." And I've just felt that's my first encounter. I felt his presence so powerfully. And that was my first time ever hearing his voice. And when I tell you, it literally sparked a fire in me and changed my life. And I remember just getting in the car. I had so many questions. Who was that? What was that? What's going on? It was just so much. My mind just was just so, like overwhelmed. I was so overwhelmed what I felt in that prayer room. It was just so real to me. I couldn't explain what I felt. I couldn't explain what happened to me. I don't know what happened. I was just so overwhelmed of his love. I felt a love that I never felt in my life. I felt it was just so beautiful. It was so beautiful. And that really would kind of started to change my life, because that's when I really started to get serious, started to get serious. And of course, it's a long story. I still had some issues that I had to deal with and, things that I had to go. But I can say that I said all of that to say this is that I'm so passionate about reaching for the lost. I'm so passionate about reaching for people that been in places that I come from, right? And I always preach and always teach, and I tell them, look, if God can change a wretched man like me, he can do anything, right? And I'm just so I know one of my giftings is faith. I love, I believe in faith, and I'm constantly, teaching faith and but I just have so much faith that I can look at somebody and be like, you know what? God can do something with that person, right? God can change your life if you allow him to do it. So I hope that answered your question. I know I went.
So that was, so 23 years ago,
yes, sir.
24 years ago, your life was radically changed. When did you plant, what's the name of your church?
Encounter Church.
Encounter Church. When was Encounter Church planted?
Okay, so Encounter Church, about 3 years ago, in prayer, I just was praying for direction. I sat under my pastor for 20 years.
Wow.
I served him. You name it, I did everything from youth pastor, from everything, So I sat under him 20 years, and but it came to a part of the season in my life that God was, before that, maybe about 15 years ago, I remember in prayer, the Lord spoke to him, that you're going to pastor. And I was like, me?
Right.
Not me. No, I was just kind of dismissing it. No, I don't want to be a pastor. No, you sure, Lord? When I tell my wife, and she kind of knew already,
Sure.
She's very gifted. So she knew. She was like, I told you, and I'm like, but not knowing, right? But it didn't happen right away because God had to bring me through a process.
Sure,
right?
Of course.
And kind of take
to sift you.
Junk out of my life and crush me and shake me and on the potter's wheel. He had to deal with me. So about 3 years ago, we was in the transition, and we was like, okay, God, I feel like the door's closing. Where we at? And talking to my pastor and letting him know, hey, I feel a pull to really, to go church plant. I really feel the pull. I can't shake it. And when I tell you, brother Matt, I had a wrestling match with the Lord. He did not let me go. When I tell you it was a struggle, because I was like, I did not want to do it.
Sure.
Because I know what it takes. I know the responsibility. I know the good, the bad, and the ugly of it, right? And the rewarding, right? So I didn't want to do it. But I wrestle with the Lord. And finally, I just, okay, yes, I gave him my yes. I said, okay, Lord, whatever you want, your desire is, I'm willing to do it. So that was about 3 years ago. So we launched 2 years ago. This February made 2 years. And when I tell you, it was just me, my wife, and my daughter, and my son in a handful. We just went there and just started to teach Bible studies and started to reach people, love people. And that's where we at right now. So I'm loving the journey where I'm at. I love what the scripture said, don't despise the small beginnings, right? Sometimes you want to get hasty,
right?
And kind of like, but I learned to be patient and kind of let God and just kind of direct me and work with him, and I say this all the time, especially when I talk to other young ministers. I tell them, I have learned over the years not to work for God. Because when you work for God, you'll get frustrated. You get frustrated because you try to open doors. And, what I have learned is that I learned to work with God. And I kind of put it like this. If I can put it in an illustration, it's like that construction work. And you see that guy with the power driver, right? And he's just pile down that concrete because he's about to get ready to pour more concrete. Well, I'm the guy holding the hose. And the Lord is the one with the pot. So I learned to work with him because it's easier now.
Sure.
I won't get frustrated. And plus, I won't get all the glory. And so I have learned over the years to work with God. So I hope that answers your question.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So February 23rd, 2023.
Yes, sir.
2 years. Where do you meet at?
We right now are in the storefront. We're in a storefront, 3620 Della Run Drive. We're in a storefront right now. We seat about 40 chairs. We are in the process. We've been praying. And been looking. And we've been praying. We believe in God. Before the year over, we'll be in a new location. So we're just praying for that. And some things did have, some doors have opened. So we're just praying for God's timing, and God will provide the proper resources, right, to do this move smoothly in this new transition. So,
excellent.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, 3620. That's what street?
It's over there where the old hospital used to be.
Yes. Okay, there's a jewelry building and stuff over there?
Yes,
okay.
I'm in Suite A. That's where I'm at right now.
Suite A. And there's another church that meets right next door to you?
There was a Brazilian church there, but I don't think they're there no more, actually. I don't see them no more.
Gotcha,
I think they left. We're the only ones there, me and we have Pastor, Spanish Pastor Lopez. He have a Spanish congregation there too.
Oh, okay.
So we kind of share the same building, but that's where we at temporary. And
gotcha.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Good for
yes,
you.
Sir.
Did anything happen with the soccer fields? Did you get a chance to meet some kids
we got to do some outreach, and it was good. I know the only concern with people was kind of mentioning to me is that they didn't have nowhere to use the restroom. So that was a kind of
right.
And I kind of mentioned it to Pastor Trevor about it, but we did got the chance to meet with some families there and connect with some children, and I'm just believing we're just going to continue. We're just going to continue to do some. I love community. I love doing community events and community outreach. I love that. I love giving back to the community. Recently, in November, we gave away 100 turkeys. We kind of partnered with my wife's law firm, and we just did 100 turkeys, kind of blessed the community, and that was very well. December, we did a toy drive, and that was awesome. First annual toy drive. Had about 50 kids show up, and we got to connect with families and mothers and fathers, and just kind of wrap our hands on and say, we love you, and so, yeah. Yes, sir.
Excellent. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, this was good. I'm excited to hear about Encounter Church, and man, welcome to being a church planner. It is difficult. It is not easy. But one thing that you got on you is that you're kind of local. So you're from this area, you know how it works.
Yeah.
And you live here in St. Bernard now?
Yeah. We are actually, I'm looking to move in this area.
Okay.
The property is so expensive. Oh my word. That's another topic, right? I'm not even gonna get into real estate right now.
Right.
But no, God has been good. God has been good. And the families that we have at our church, they are so good, some great families. And
excellent.
And they are excited about what God is doing at Encounter Church and for the community. I really, I'm excited about what God's about to do in St. Bernard Parish. Because you kind of look at St. Bernard Parish, you're kind of like an island by itself, right? Kind of forgotten.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. But there's so much opportunities here, and I'm so excited what God's going to do in this area. And I'm pumped. I'm pumped, Matt. I'm very pumped. So
excellent.
Yes, sir.
Well, welcome to St. Bernard.
Yes,
Glad you're here.
Thank you so much.
Glad your ministry is at the beginning of thriving and
Yes,
about
sir.
to do some really great things.
Thank you, sir.
So I'm excited to see what Encounter does, and
yes, sir.
excited for you to be a part of what we're going to be doing with For His Glory next January.
Please let me know.
And we'll probably have something in the fall that we'll probably do with all of the pastors.
Okay.
Let
me know.
We're going to be planning that out.
Whatever I can do. Whatever I can do to serve. You just tell me. Give me the dates ahead of time, and I'll make some room to come in there. So.
Perfect. All right.
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate you coming.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
God bless you.